So today lecture 15, linear and non-linear stability at L4 in the restricted three-body problem with Coriolis and centrifugal forces. So this is the work of Professor Bhatnagar and Professor Hasan, and we will look into this. Could have been done earlier, but anyway, we are doing. And today we'll remember Professor Bhatnagar. So we'll see whatever I had some information I have put, and we will keep on updating his information. So he published one paper in the Silver Jubilee article in Bulletin of Astronomical Society of India in 1997, volume 25, page 295 to 30. Research my passion. So I'm just I have taken from there this material. In 1969, Professor R.S. Verma, the then head of Department of Mathematics, University of Delhi, called me to his office and asked me why I was not doing research. So this is all Professor Bhatnagar has recalled, and then he wrote this article. And this was published in Bulletin of Astronomical Society of India. I had no valid reason for except that I never thought about it. On his persuasion, I did my PhD on a topic in celestial mechanics from the University of Delhi in 1970 at the age of 42. Earlier, I was totally dedicated to the teaching of mathematics, and now research has become a compulsion of my mind. It gives me solace when I am depressed or find myself in a hopeless situation. It gives me joy which I cannot describe. The quality of my happiness has increased manifold with the passage of time. During my student days, I had developed a special interest in mechanics and astronomy. And so my supervisor, Professor R.S. Verma, suggested me to choose some topic in celestial mechanics. But at the same time, told me very frankly that he was not, in the article, was not there, certainly not should have been there, was not an expert in the subject. So there was hardly any book available on celestial mechanics, either in my institution, Zakir Hussain College, formerly Delhi College, or in the main library of Delhi University. There were very few people in India who knew about the subject. In spite of my serious and sincere efforts, I failed to make any progress. And then my supervisor asked me to contact Professor R.K. Chaudhary, who had recently returned from Moscow after obtaining his PhD in celestial mechanics. On contacting him, he readily agreed to help me, provided I came to Bhagalpur. On the appointment day and time, I reached his residence in Bhagalpur, but to my surprise and disappointment, he had left for Samastipur a day earlier and left a message for me that I should meet him there. I went to Samastipur, but again I was told that he has left for his village and has asked me to wait for his return in Samastipur. At least after a torturous wait for 4 days, I could meet Professor Chaudhary in Samastipur. His extremely affectionate behavior immediately put me at ease. We went to Bhagalpur together. I was given 4 problems relating to periodic orbits with a collision, a restricted problem of 3 and 4 bodies. Hardly had I solved one problem, I was summoned by my principal to Delhi, and so reluctantly I had to cut short my visit. I stayed at Bhagalpur only for 21 days. After returning to Delhi, I was lucky to solve the remaining 4 problems in 1 month's time. Initial frustration amply rewarded me in the everlasting friendship with Professor Chaudhary. Unfortunately, my supervisor, Professor R.S. Verma, died in Canada soon after and did not live to see me getting my PhD degree. A simple remark by Professor UN Singh, the new head of Department of Mathematics, changed the course of my life altogether. While congratulating me, he said, Dr. Bhatnagar, today you are being initiated in research. It is just like a person who is initiated to sannyas, who casts off his old garments and takes on new saffron robes and vows to live a life of dedication for the service of humanity. So, from now onwards, you should dedicate yourself completely to education and research. His remark touched me deeply. After that, there was no looking back. Research became a deep passion for me. In these 25 years, I have been quite active in promoting research in space dynamics and celestial mechanics. We have produced a large number of research papers which are published in reputed journals and international journals. Reputed national and international journals. Our topics of research are N-body problem, N greater than equal to 2, rigid body motion, 3 periodic orbits with the characteristics of collision, 4 resonance, 5 satellite motion, geostationary satellite, 6 scattering problem, 7 escape theory, formation of binaries, 8 chaos, 9 fractals, 10 non-linear oscillations, 11 relativistic effects on some problems of celestial mechanics. Friends, this is all till 1997 when he wrote this article. After that, till he lived in this world till February 2016, March 2016. He had enough research later he has done with various students. I may state very briefly the most significant research results discovered by us during these 25 years. We are all familiar with the two-dimensional Levi-Civita transformation. X1 is equal to xi1 square minus xi2 square, x2 is equal to 2 xi1 xi2, which is widely used for regularizing the equations of motion in problems of celestial mechanics. We could extend this to 3 dimension. He did it in his thesis, Bhatnagar 1969. X1 is equal to xi1 square minus xi2 square, x2 is equal to 2 xi1 xi2, and x3 is equal to xi3. Though having application only when xi3 is very less than 1. It doesn't matter because we are going from ecliptic plane very little up. So it had applications. So far, a general 3-dimensional transformation does not exist. Still, it does not exist, which regularizes the problem of motion, always except case transformation, which of course changes 3-dimensional space to a 4-dimensional space. There you have a regularization. So he, in a limited sense, he regularized his problem. But what happens is these analytical works, and this was with collision also, because he generalized the work of the Giasaglia, which I discussed in the earlier one of the earlier lecture. So, because my thesis was also partly dependent upon Giasaglia's work, and his thesis is entirely dependent on him. He extended it to elliptic restricted 3-body problem and 3-dimensional restricted 3-body problem, as well as 4-body problem. It is well known that the restricted problem of 3 bodies possesses 5 liberation points. The 3 locolinear points L1, L2, L3 are unstable, and the 2 L4, L5 are stable with the mass ratios of the finite bodies less than mu equal to 0.03852. I think almost now all of us know this value, critical mass. Winter in 1941 showed that the stability of L4, L5 is due to the existence of Coriolis terms in the equations of motion. The result was confirmed by Zabe in 1967. My first PhD student R.K. Sharma in 1975, while taking one of the primary as an oblate sphere, oblate body, contrary to Zabe, established that Coriolis force is not always a stabilizing force. I presented this paper in the IAU colloquium held in Cambridge in 1976 in the presence of Professor Zabe and other international experts. My guide, Professor Chaudhary, did not agree to our findings. The matter was referred to Professor Zabe. He agreed with us but wanted to know the discrepancies in his paper. I then studied the problem in depth with another student, P.P. Hallan, and resolved the mystery once for all, discussing both the linear and non-linear stability not only taking one of the primaries as oblate body, but by taking general perturbed potential and solving a large number of similar problems, and even showing that Zabé's case was a very special case of our work. Our contribution towards the study of motion of rigid bodies is quite significant. We have modified various previous results and have extended the studies of Russell of 1928, Kopal in 1938, Kohling in 1938, Sterne in 1939, Bauer in 1940. They're all classical works. They are very excellent works. 1946, John and Khan in 1969, Kinoshita in 1970, Mishra and Chaudhary in 1974. While studying the motion of two rigid bodies, Bhatnagar 1980, have shown that theta j, phi j, and psi j, j equal to A and B Euler angles, contrary to previous results, are linear functions of time. This is an excellent result, which was due to the fact that earlier researchers had not taken into account the contribution of a certain term. Our study towards the existence and stability of liberation points of one rigid body moving around another rigid body is shown in the following table. So you see these different tables. The entire this table tells the form of the rigid body, number of standard solutions, and the solutions. Both triaxial, Bhatnagar in 1986, 36 stationary solutions, Lij, Ij 1 to 6. A spheroid and a triaxial body, Bhatnagar 1980, B 18 solutions, and Lij, I equal to 1, 3, 5, and J is equal to 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, and then up to 6. Then both spheroids, Bhatnagar 1978, 9 stationary solutions, Lij, Ij 1, 3, 5. So a spherical and triaxial, Kinoshita 1970, 2, 6 solution, Lij, I1 and J1 to 6. A sphere and a spheroid, Kinoshita 1973, Lij equal to Li plus 1J, Ij 135. So these were, she studied this, some independently and some with the students. Usha Gupta, I remember, her paper was, she did PhD in this area. And then this was an excellent work which he has, some of the works which were earlier there, he has improved upon them. We have studied in detail the motion of geosynchronous satellite under the gravitational field of oblate Earth. This work was he got from ISRO, a project, RESPOND project, and it was a very, very lengthy work, but then certain new results he located. He has his students. Including the equatorial ellipticity. Equatorial ellipticity, when you take you don't assume you have to assume the time dependent terms also. So at least the J22 term. The sun, including the solar radiation pressure, that means the gravitational as well as the radiation pressure both, and the moon, taking into account the inclination of its orbit. Inclination also of its orbit with the plane of ecliptic, because moon has got a inclination there. So equations of motion consist of 722 terms. Friends, you just see the 722 terms. Bhatnagar and Monica. This work was carried out in association with Monica, who got PhD in this area, running to 64 pages. It was a Herculean task to bring in to the following compact form, that alpha dot is equal to alpha 0 dot plus sigma I is equal to 1 to 182 AI sine alpha omega ij, and psi dot is equal to psi 0 dot plus 1 by sine alpha 0 sigma I is equal to 1 to 82 bi sine omega ij. See, not many people can handle such long terms, some lengthy calculations. He did never lost patience. That is the great. He had the greatness. This is greatness. I don't think there are many people in the world who will be able to, at present time, maybe in past some of the great people were there, who could have handled so many terms and still come out with a meaningful result. So these are the equations of motion. You can write, these are if you don't take the right hand side, you have the two-body problem equations, that r double dot minus r square theta dot plus gm by r square is equal to psi plus I is equal to 1 to 179 ci and theta omega I t, and then ddt of r theta dot square is equal to eta plus I is equal to 1 to 179 di sine omega t. So these are the equations of motion. And from there, getting a solution is not an easy task. But he did it. The student has done it. When alpha psi determine the orbital plane and r and theta the position of the satellite in the orbital plane, I would like to emphasize the presence of the term alpha 0 dot on the right hand side of equation 1, which has not included in the earlier literature, is due to Earth's equatorial ellipticity. This is very important. Earth's equatorial ellipticity is a very important for all geostationary satellites. If you do not take this, then we just do not have a good solution. So normally this only gives the real physics of the problem. It was observed that the maximum contribution of alpha 0 dot t in 1 year lies between 0.042 degrees and 0.058 degrees for a synchronous satellite. Another remarkable result which we found was that the angular motion of synchronous satellite is a large amplitude oscillation around the position of minor axis. These are well-known results, but then he has improved upon this of the Earth's equatorial section. The period of this oscillation function of j. See, it is the same. The meaning of j22 and j2 square, what he has written, that is same. j22. Normally we call it j22, but okay, maybe because of some reason he has written j22 square. But j2, it is not that j2 term and that is square of that. It is not the same. That same thing. j22 comes because time dependent term is a function of j22 or j2 square, whatever is written. The term due to the Earth's equatorial ellipticity. The formula enables us to determine the value of j22. Okay, this is another great thing that you are able to improve upon this formula very accurately, as t can be observed with precision. So this is a method he told, because these coefficients, they need some improvement gradually. So that's one method he has said that this can be improved because we know the orbital period very, very, very accurately. Our work on nonlinear oscillation determining chaotic zone and its application to the motion of satellite Hyperion have been appreciated internationally. So this is the one paper which I think he has probably alone, Bhatnagar 1994. So Hyperion is in chaotic motion. So that he has a application motion up to Hyperion has also been appreciated internationally. In recognition of my research activities, I was elected to IAU Commission 7, dedicated to celestial mechanics, and later to its executive committee. I was also on the editorial board of International Editor for one of the most prestigious journals, Celestial Mechanics. Those days, Celestial Mechanics was the #1 in this area. It has taken the Astronomical Journal, which used to be the #1 till 1969. And this journal started in 1969 with all great celestial mechanists and astrodynamist people. And then this picked up. Publishing a paper there is not an easy task. I was elected to various national and international academic bodies. I was elected a senior associate of IOCA and elected to one of its statutory committee. I had also been on the nominating committee of the Kyoto Prize in Celestial Mechanics. So these were all the things which he had got as a recognition of his expertise, talent, and his hard work. I have undertaken various research assignments and projects which have been funded by UGC, DST, and ISRO. I told you about the ISRO project which he has done, and the whole book which he has done those people ISRO headquarter people gave me, and I am having sometime when I come to Delhi, I'll bring that book. That is a whole book is this thing. Maybe one copy may be there with him also in the Center for our fundamental research. So Smithsonian and University of Texas Austin. So various agencies he has done the projects. I have chaired the session and delivered presidential addresses at various national and international conferences. He has done that. My academic activities have taken me to USA, UK, Holland, France, Germany, Austria, Italy, Spain, Finland, Kuwait, and Russia. I got invitation to visit China and Japan. I had to cancel my visit to China due to unexpected disturbances there and could not go to Japan due to some technical difficulties in getting the visa in time. During my visits abroad, I have had the privilege of coming into contact with giants in my field. I have developed a very strong group of scientists given in Appendix 1, some at that time only, because later on many more I have added, because this article is in 1997 only written, which is quite active in promoting research in space dynamics and celestial mechanics. I have organized 2 international meetings in Delhi, one in 85 and the other in 90. A meeting of 85 international workshop on space dynamics and celestial mechanics was organized under the joint sponsorship of University of Delhi, Vikram Sarabhai Space Center at Trivandrum, and the space program of the University of Texas at Austin. That's why we came in bulk from Vikram Sarabhai Space Center. We were very large. Our participation from Vikram Sarabhai Space Center was very large because I was there at that time. And then the other centers also of the space, Department of Space, they also came there. And there was large participation internationally that I had shown, and I put again that figure because he was like that, so much felt happy with this that international workshop. The meeting of 1990 IOU Colloquium 32 was sponsored by Commission 7 Celestial Mechanics and co-sponsored by Commission 33 Structure of Dynamics and Galactic Systems, and 37 Star Cluster and Association. I was the chairman of both the above meetings. At both the meetings, the need of establishing a center of space dynamics in India was emphasized. In consequence of the above, an autonomous center for fundamental research in space dynamics and celestial mechanics, CFSRC, has been established under a registered trust at IA 47C Ashok Vihar, Phase 1, New Delhi 110052, and myself as the first full-time director of the center. This is the again I'm showing you. Last time also I showed you, and you can see the chains. Professor Bhatnagar is here, and Professor Zabe is there, and he is a great man from France. He has written Kozlowski. He has written a book on celestial mechanics, and then Diprit is there here. I think Garfinkel is there here. Dr. Adimurthy is here, and then the Professor Chaudhary is here, and some people from Japan, top people came there, and Professor Dr. Swaminathan was there from our center. He was from VSSC. He was there. So VSSC we were there, and Dr. Subbarao is also here. Myself, so many are there here in this one. VSSC, from VSSC, quite a few, and from other centers also. Dr. Sudhakar Rao is here. Dr. Suresh is here. Dr. Madan Lal is there. Dr. Suresh is there. He is still the Chancellor of IIST. And all the programs of our ISRO rockets, they are all chaired under his. He is the chairman of the review committee of all these things. So he is very active. Still, he is very active. Dr. Suresh, and Dr. Takvi is here, and Radhika is there. Mr. Madan Lal is there. He also still is very active on human mission. The human mission which goes, he chairs some sessions. He stays in Delhi, but he goes for meetings there. So a lot of people, with the top this thing, Mr. Oja is there. So many are there here. And this is, I told Henrad is there. Professor Srivastava, a great man who came from, who was in IISc Bangalore, and he did PhD under Modi, Professor Modi. He is here. And Professor Prahlad, he was the director of the NAL, and he was our group director also, then a director of NAL also. And Mr. Mathur. So many people are there here. And so many names I have forgotten now, but all are in this such a huge galaxies of great giants were in this. So the aim of this center is to make a general public awareness of the importance of fundamental research in space dynamics and celestial mechanics, and to organize research in this field with individuals and institutions. This we wish to achieve by arranging lectures of eminent scientists, by holding seminars and conferences, providing consultancy service and publishing articles, books, pamphlets, and periodicals, etc. We are devoting a good deal of our time and effort in achieving these objectives using the modest resources available with us. Everybody has his or her share of the good and the bad and the ugly. I am no exception. My humble beginning still haunts me. After my father's death, I had to apply for full fee concession. I was then 10 years old and a student of 6th standard. There used to be a very humiliating system in those days. The fee had to be given from a poor fund account, and the money had to be collected from by the student himself holding a tin box in front of his own classmates after the morning prayers. I had to go through this ritual every month and bear the most agonizing humiliation. At present, my only ambition is to see the CFRSC as one of the best academic institutions of the world, but financial constraints stand in my way. I pray and hope that one day some philanthropist will give me his patronage to this noble task. So these are all the references he has given, some of the which are he has cited, he told there. Then anyway, the Mishra, Gopal, etc. So, and those things, and then these are all the things which he has told. And this some of the people he has given. This list is very, very incomplete. There are so many people, but out of this, what I can say is Professor Hallan. You know, see, I was the first student. Then Dr. Takvi joined, and Mr. Chawla also joined. But Chawla, in between, he got a good job, and then he discontinued his PhD. But Professor Hallan did all. Today we will be discussing his work. And Usha Gupta did on that motion of two rigid spheroids. Bina Gupta did on resonance. Saha was his colleague who they did a lot of work on chaos. And JT was another of his colleague who was also helping him out. And Ayub Khan did a lot of work with him. He's a student, PhD student, who did on chaos and other areas. And Arif Muhammad also did work on magnetic binaries, etc. And B.D. Prasad. Like that, these are Rashmi is a very senior professor there, non-linear dynamics. And like that, Naveen Chandra also did a lot of good work in this. So, and this list is very incomplete, a lot of people after that have joined there. Maybe I did not have the total list, otherwise I would have added this also. Now, this list is there, bibliography. So these are also not complete, but whatever I had, I'm just showing you, starting from his 69. These are part of his thesis, PhD thesis work. This one, this one, this one. These three papers are from his doctoral thesis. So here he elliptic restricted three body. He extended the work to elliptic restricted probably the Giasaglia's work, and then collision of the plane circular four body. So here he extended to four body, and this is the periodic orbits, three body, the three dimensional. So here only he has extended to three dimension. So that regularization to three dimension was not there. So in a limited sense he did that. Then with Bina Gupta, only thing with me there is no research. I told you the story that he said, Sharma, no, I don't want to become an author, and since you did it and then you publish it. So I don't have any paper with him. So Bhatnagar, Bina Gupta, these are all resonance carried out later work with Bina Gupta. And then Takvi, actually the work with Chawla is there, where he has taken oblateness as well as the radiation pressure. These two, almost his PhD was more or less over, but somehow anyway, Chawla has not taken interest to complete his thesis, but otherwise he would have also got his doctorate. There was not much problem. So Bina Gupta has done on resonance, and they are all initial works. Then Usha Gupta has done motion of two rigid bodies under the gravitational influence of each other. This work, and then Hallan and they have done that today. This work, Coriolis and centrifugal force. Two paper, and later on, see a lot of people have carried out work, because this became Coriolis and centrifugal bifurcation has become a very important study, and many papers have come. People have added different kind of forces, and then a lot of work over this. So you see, this is another paper there. In plane motion of a geosynchronous satellite under the gravitational attraction of sun, moon, and oblate body. So Journal of Astronomy and Astrophysics has come here. Usha Gupta, this is there in celestial mechanics. Existence of stability of the equilibrium points in a triaxial rigid body moving around another rigid These are all very, very important works. And this is there, the Coriolis and centrifugal force. So like that, some works are beginning, but the list is not. Then the Rashmi has joined with her as a full-time research scholar. So some work she did on restricted the body, but her major work was on the Kayask thing. See, rotational motion of a satellite in elliptic orbit under influence of third body, the torque. So here she had some papers over with him on this, Bharadwaj. Kayask in nonlinear planar oscillation of a satellite in elliptic orbit under the influence of third body, torque. So Kayask and Khanna joined, but this is again magnetic torque with Bharadwaj, Rashmi Bharadwaj. Khanna, this is again restricted there. Then Chandra, Naveen Chandra, the escape and the other things he carried out there. And with the Sanjay Jain, there were nonlinear stability when the primaries are triaxial rigid bodies. This I presented, some of the 3-4 papers which were carried out. Then with the Dr. Takvi in the beginning itself, it was the motion of the satellites, the oblateness, etc. And we have used, actually, I had made a small this thing, but maybe sometime later I will show, because application only I made. So he was not that much, he has not put in that, but that was a very important work from application point of view. So this is how the list was. Mittal has joined, and then a lot of people have worked. Later on, there was so this is only a list of 42, but there must be so many more. And this list is only till 2014, and some of the papers might have been missed in between. Must be a large number, so this is not there. Then I was lucky to give, first, you can see first KB Bhatnagar. So this was we organized in October. His birthday comes on 20th, but that was a working day. Then it was thought that 22nd being Saturday, it was organized on 22nd October 2016. I happened to be the first person to talk on this KB Bhatnagar Memorial Lecture. It was well attended. A lot of his students came. Then you can show here. This you can see some of our people. Pandeji is here. Pandeji will be happy. And Sanjay Jain is there, Professor Jain is there, and then he is there, our Rathore is there, and a lot of people are there. Is there. So some of the people, and sometime, I'm sorry, I can't immediately recollect the names, but Vinay is there here, and like that, Yadav is there, and Mrs. Takvi is here. Dr. Takvi and his wife both came over here. And here you can see Sanjay Jain and Dr. Rathore, and then Mr. Dr. Pandey. And you can see in this Ayub Khan. Professor Ayub Khan is doing a wonderful research. He is there in Jamia. He was the Pro-Vice Chancellor in Hyderabad University also. Then he has come back. He is doing a lot of work on this thing. I happened to examine 2 or 3 theses of his students. He is doing a very novel work. New area is started, and most of them are, I think, the students of Dr. Bhatnagar. So here Dr. Rajiv Agarwal is there. So I thought I show you this also to recollect our Vinay is there, and a lot of people are there. Professor Ranjita Kumari is there here, and she is there. Agarwal, Sanita Agarwal is there, and he is there. Other side you can see Mr. Sharma is there, and so this was a good get together. People came, for all the way, and then we had a memorial lecture, and some people talked over that. You can see because Halan Sawayik was not able, so I added this. Professor Halan is here. See, Halan was also a very bright person, and I think he was also first ranker of the university. And Professor Bhatnagar, these two, that nonlinear stability working, and a lot of other relativistic study, nonlinear stability also, I think they have studied. A lot of work they have done, and Professor Takvi is here, and Mrs. Takvi, his wife, is there, and then she is there, Agarwal, and then I am here. So this is how the thing is over. Now let me start the the effect of perturbation on Coriolis and centrifugal forces on the stability of liberation point in this. So this work started after he attended the workshop, Cambridge conference, international conference, and then that was to bifurcate it. See the location of stability of, and this has been, you see, you can see that the importance of this paper. 58 times it has been cited. So when people work, then only they cite. The location and stability of a liberation point in the restricted three body have been studied when small perturbation epsilon, epsilon dash are given in the Coriolis and the centrifugal forces respectively. It is seen that the point L4 and L5 form nearly equilateral triangles with the primaries, and the points L4, L1, L2, L3 remain collinear. It is further observed that the points L4 and L5, the range of stability increases or decreases depending upon whether the point epsilon, epsilon dash lies in one or the other of the two parts in which epsilon, epsilon dash plane is divided by the line 36 epsilon minus 19 epsilon dash equal to 0. So this line has become very important. And the stability of the collinear points is not influenced by the perturbations, that they remain unstable. So the problem started in the same way. As I told us, the Winter showed that stability comes because of the Coriolis terms, and then in one of his papers, Zabbe considered the effect of small disturbance on Coriolis force on the stability of liberation point, keeping the centrifugal forces constant. He established that the collinear points remain unstable for the stability of the triangle, and he obtained a relation between the critical value of the mass parameter mu c like this. But then this establishing that Coriolis force is a stabilizing force. That's why he is established there. But then Subbarao and Sharma have considered the same problem, but with one of the primaries, as we studied the other thing also, Coriolis thing itself, that only he has presented there. But okay, this was another paper, but that's all right. So the primary is as oblate spheroid and its equatorial point constant with the plane of motion. The oblateness of the primary resulted in the increase both in Coriolis and the centrifugal force. While studying the stability triangle, they established that the Coriolis force is not a stabilizing force. After this, this paper has become very important paper in literature. Because already 130, more than 130 times it has been cited, this paper. Since Zabbe's assertion Coriolis is force is a stabilizing force depends upon the fact that while changing the Coriolis force, the centrifugal is kept constant, whereas in Subbarao Sharma's paper, the centrifugal force is no longer a constant force. We have thought of studying the same problem by taking the parameter this, which represent the perturbation in the Coriolis and the centrifugal respect. So they have bifurcated epsilon dash. So these are the normal equations of motion. Now you can see there where alpha beta will come. Now alpha is coming here and beta is coming here. Okay, so you can, that is here the alphas and betas are representing. Alpha epsilon represent perturbation in Coriolis. So alpha epsilon is with alpha and epsilon dash is with beta. So alpha comes in this one, beta comes in this one. So that's the thing. So beta is coming over here in the force function, beta, and alpha comes in the other one. So these are all the method is same, as we do. So only alpha betas have been added there at the. So here you can see here R1 cube is 1 by beta, and this if they are more than one, if they are more than one as it is added here. So R1 is also less than 1 and R2 is also less than 1. So they become, you can see that it is not, both R1, R2 are going to be less than 1. So the distance between the primary is 1 only. So it becomes a near another triangle. Near equilateral triangle you can call it. And these are the locate points of the triangular points. So this is the location. Anyway, these are the standard methods. So I will quickly pass through this. Stability of the liberation points. The alpha betas have entered over here. Alpha has entered, beta has not entered in here. So that it is independent of beta here. Only alpha has entered in the characteristic equation. So it is no more dependent upon beta. So these are all in this we consider the points L4, L5, betas are here, alpha is not there, only beta is there here in this. So you have got this the characteristic roots for both alphas and betas are here. So this is how this line came. So when you find out the characteristic roots, and this how that this is the algebra must have been involved there, but anyway, final result is this. Mu c is equal to the mu critical 0.038, and then this is the value. Now this only has to be, this only decides now whether it is increasing or decreasing depending upon this. If this is positive, then it is increasing. If this is negative, it is decreasing. So that only has been discussed all through here. I am not going into detail of this. Coriolis force. So this epsilon is equal to, we obtain this. So for further line this particular establish that the centrifugal force is a destabilizing force, provided that Coriolis force is kept constant. This result also follows that epsilon is equal to 0. We must further observe from equation this is the whole region of the mass parameter. This becomes unstable if this lies on the line. So that line, the figure is also there. You can see the figure. Now this figure only makes you this side and this side. Two planes are. So if their values are lying this side, the results are. This is the bifurcating line now. One side positive, one side is negative. So that is how this has become important. So when you take any other perturbation, then you see around this what happens. Stability of the collinear point. So these are all discussed. You take the partial derivatives. Omega xx, omega xy, and omega yy, and omega xy will be 0 at collinear points, and omega xx, omega y. This is positive, negative. So it is in the similar fashion. It doesn't. Two roots are positive and two roots are pure imaginary. So again, same thing. Since the solution is unstable, we may therefore conclude that the stability of collinear points is not influenced by change in Coriolis and the centrifugal forces, and they may remain unstable. So that doesn't change here. Okay. So conclusion is same. By taking perturbations in epsilon dash, the Coriolis and centrifugal, we have seen that the point L4, L5 form nearly equilateral triangles with the primaries, and the point L1, L4 remain collinear. We have further observed that L4, L5, the range of stability increases or decreases depending upon whether the point epsilon dash lies in one or the other part of that plane, epsilon plane, divides by the line this. And the stability of the collinear points is not influenced by the perturbations in the Coriolis and the centrifugal force, and they remain unstable. So this is the result which they published. This is okay. They did it in then they anyway thanked Professor Zave because he suggested that you should take up like this. Then the problem was suggested in that conference that you bifurcate that thing into epsilon 1 and epsilon 2, and Professor Chaudhary must have been some discussion, or sometimes these things are given to honor also a person. We give many times like that also. So the effect of perturbations in Coriolis and centrifugal forces of the nonlinear stability of equilibrium. So this is the nonlinear stability, friends. So this has been cited 32 times. You see how quickly it was published. It was received on June. Everything by mail only, letters only. And to USA it reaches also at least 10 to 15 days time. In around 15 days time it used to take. So you can say June they have received in June, and accepted in October. So this is one of the earliest unless somebody is in US and sending into US. Sending from India and publishing this, in my opinion, is one of the earlier paper. I have not noticed. Maybe I have not written there that date. Earlier one I have forgotten to write the date when it was accepted and sent. But here you can see I was also quite surprised because it takes a lot of time. When we submitted our paper, it took 2.5 years. One revision was also there, but then it took a lot of time. Here, the referees, after seeing the kind of calculations have been carried out, he had no option except to accept it. Either he has to, because the method, there is no fault. The method has been used. Depreet's method has been used. So it was. 1 month goes in coming and going, and then it is July, August, September, October. Okay, so this is one of the earliest I have seen. So this is the work, which they knew that, okay, linear to non-linear. Now those three singularities will come. How to find out those singularities? So Depreet paper was available to them. So the same method, Depreet's thing has been initiated. Depreet. So we follow this. For this, we propose to do by applying Moses theorem and follow the procedure adopted by Depreet and Depreet. So as I told, last paper, the Depreet paper became a wonderful tool for doing research by others on nonlinear stability of this triangular points. So Dr. Bhattacharya and Dr. Hallan were the first to carry out with a complicated problem where two parameters are changed. Epsilon and epsilon dash are added there, and then they are to be done. So you can see now, appreciate the algebra involved here. Now see, alpha and beta have entered, and only thing is higher order terms they can neglect while expanding the terms. So you can see there the higher order terms they have not kept, only epsilon terms and epsilon dash terms they have kept. Other up to L cube. Fourth order Hamiltonian is also, up to fourth order terms you have to do. So all the terms, wherever epsilon dash has come, they have taken. Mostly here in this case only epsilon dash is there. So to the first order, this equation has come. X dot y dot. And this is the characteristic equation. So this value is 1 and this value is this thing. This has made their life very tough, because they did not use, they made in unperturbed and then they made in this series. And we learned when we were doing after so many years later with oblateness, we read their paper carefully, and then we found if we do it in perturbed frequencies, what happens? So we did experiment with perturbed frequencies, and we found that the algebra involved was much more easier. Then that's why later work when Dr. Bhatnagar did with other student, with Sanjay Jain, when he followed our method, what we followed, because that simplified the problem considerably. In my opinion, this problem somebody should do with that method, perturbed frequencies. Again, there is no harm because algebra will be less, and even if you get the same results, first thing is same result getting is impossible, because the algebra you can see here, it's going to be so much many orders higher calculations. So whosoever does, the algebra will come less. So the transformation in the end, I don't think it will be easy to even compare them. It looks to me, because since we have not verified their problem to that level, but at this level we changed ourselves. Later on they have also changed when they extended our work to another thing, which made them the work easier. But because now this has been written, this has made the things complicated. You will see. That's why I want to make a thing here. But they had a great patience, both were great intelligent people. They could do it. I know the room in which they used to work many times. When I come from Trivandrum and visit them, this college, I used to see small room, both of them busy working on this problem, which they said, Sharma, so many pages already over. So register after registers were ready with this solution. That was the kind of work they did. One of the very difficult work they carried out. So the method is same, friends. The DIPRIT paper, the people who are interested to work, they must follow DIPRIT work carefully and then take up with the Perturbed frequencies. Those two equations work in that sense. Then things will look simpler. Even then, algebra is not going to be so easy, but now Maxima, Mathematica, etc. It is easy because they have done been by hand. You see, we have to appreciate how much hard work they have done. Carry out this. We know when we were doing even with one oblateness, when we were doing by hand, we were committing errors. We were also two people working. Both of us working very, very seriously on that. And we also had a good, in fact, we had a very good environment to work in ISRO. My boss room was AC room, with all kind of facilities, and where we used to sit there. But still, we were not able to. So we have to appreciate. That's why I thought this paper I must put it separately and tell you the kind of hard work they have done. And this paper will be immortal. Nobody can repeat it. It is such a complicated work. It's not easy to replace this work. Even with the method is same. That's why I'm not going to make the method is same, which whatever DIPRIT has used, whatever we had used. We also use the same method only. So we were following both of them. We learned a lot of lessons from their paper. If their paper was not there, probably we would have also not done. So this is, you see, this comes. Now all these parameters, they are to be verified in third order Hamiltonian. These parameters must come somewhere and must prove that third order part of the Hamiltonian must be equal to 0. So all R dash, R, whatever these are coming, they must be that is same. Comes only the number. Now you can see I have taken full paper so that the people those who don't have even these notes, they can have the paper. See, everywhere they have to expand it. So these alpha betas sometimes have become very complicated. Alpha star, they have become very, very complicated. You see now alpha, the terms. And they have to be exact, friends. When H3 is equal to 0, one has to prove. They have to be all, they cancel it, which we have seen physically ourselves. Now this is, of course, we have checked this transform. Now you see, we have checked that x is equal to this transform H3 is equal to 0. They have checked, up to this they have checked. Very good, wonderful. We have checked that this transform H3 is equal to 0. So they are able to check this. You can see with all complications, they are able to prove this is equal to H3 is equal to 0. When there is no perturbation in the Coriolis force and centrifugal force, epsilon this is equal to, and these values should have been the same as found listed in DIPRIT, but they are different. Also with the values, this given table in DIPRIT, H3 does not transform to 0 as mentioned in the paper, but with our values, this with epsilon is equal to 0, they become. So that means they have found out an error in DIPRIT paper. Some paper, something maybe might be going, one term might be, they have verified also with him, talked with him. Dr. Patnaik has talked. He says maybe some minor error might have come. But DIPRIT has said that the H3 is equal to 0. Maybe when they were checking while typing also, these errors can also crop in. So they have proved it here. We have checked that this and this transform H3 is equal to 0. When there is no perturbation in the Coriolis and so these values should have been the same as found listed in this, but they are different. Also with the values of this given in table 1, H3 does not transform to 0 as mentioned. So this is a very important statement, So all these terms, whatever have come in V10 and V01, these ones, all these coefficients. So they have all proved, even when they are big numbers, they have proved to be 0. Whatever in these terms have come, these they have all. So that means when these are substituted epsilon dash terms will come. So that means epsilon terms are equal to 0, epsilon dash terms are 0 for each one. There will be some, you have to take cos this coefficients of this, cos phi 1, psi phi like that. Some of the terms you have to take, then it will come. So this is a, that's why when the examiner checked this thing, when he said H3 is equal to 0, he had no other further doubt. So immediately he said, yes, paper accepted. Second order terms in frequency. Second order terms are in frequency. Again, these are expanded, but the algebra, you can see now how big will be the algebra to calculate this. Now you see the xi is going on from here, and it is continuing now. The xi is still continuing there. Eta is small, but there will be some coefficient inside. So no, it's not small. There are a lot of inside thing, and then the eta is and zeta is there, and so these are all going in there here. Now here we do not know how to check. The check has to be. I'll have to also see what is the check which comes. Up to that check is there, because those terms enter here also. So these are such a huge algebra. So we have to appreciate, Professor Bhatnagar and Professor Hallan, that the grand job done carried out without having any. They had only calculator with them. I don't know what kind of calculator they had. That also I have no idea. Now this term, you can see here. This term is unperturbed term. Okay, R1, R2. Now you will see how big are their R1, R2 are. R and R dash. R is here, and R dash can be obtained from R by replacing all this by this, respectively. So the definitions are written. Zeta is written like that. They are written, but these are huge terms. Now solution of this to get is also not an easy thing. So this is the solution. I have only, when I get doubts only is when these terms I see big numbers. So somebody who now presently who are good in calculations, they must verify whether from this solution comes, or some method to find out or substitute these values, whether d is equal to this comes. One of the student, I think Professor Rajiv Agarwal can assign to somebody to this, and this also can be published as a note to into a journal. May not be a big paper, but it can go as a note, that this verification of the complicated things also become in a research paper, because this is also research only. So this is how, because this little bit I feel afraid when I see big numbers here, because epsilon is small, but the coefficients are big. That's only makes, these are all small values, epsilon dash, but then it is multiplied by a big number, then this also becomes big only. So this must be verified. Other things are verified because coefficients are verified there. So this is the things are only this. Arnold basic, these are all basics. So his paper only. This is separate paper. This is Leontief. These are all basic papers only. And this is our paper from where that idea generates, that you bifurcate into Coriolis and this thing, because we have proved that it is reducing, not making the thing, and then the others are Zave's theory about it, and this is Zave's paper which has gone wrong because he did not change and this is Whittaker paper. Today I wanted to do something on Whittaker also. Maybe some time later I have to make a small lecture on Whittaker relevant things also. And Winter has proved that Coriolis force is a stabilizing force. So these are the strict references. Okay. So thank you very much. I think I have done it in time.